Hey folks, On Target Training up here in New Hampshire. Today we're going to be talking about a modification I just did to the SIG Legion 226, the double action version. And that modification was to put the new forward-facing trigger that comes on the Legion single action onto this double action pistol. This particular version is a steel version. It is from GrayGuns. And simple drop-in trigger. It does have some adjustments that you can make for over travel, and just, you know, some simple modifications that you can tweak to get the trigger where you want it. I have to say, for my shooting and the way in which I shoot, the ability to get on the face of the trigger, particularly through that double action, now we've just, you know, safety check here, but because of the angle of the trigger here, that action is easier for me to manipulate than it is when we have the traditional trigger. Let's take a look at that traditional trigger, in this case an older version, an older 226. Let's look at that trigger now. So, older 226 here, and you'll note the shape of that trigger is what, you know, most people are used to. So I'm pressing forward. Well, that shape of that trigger versus the shape of this trigger here, this gives me more leverage. And just shooting it just a little bit, I put a couple magazines through it just to feel it, and I really like it. So I'm going to give you guys a chance to see that in action. Again, you've seen this gun before. It shoots very well. I like the ergonomics of the Legion. I think it's a big step up from my old and somewhat rattly, shaky 226. It's been around a long time. And for me, and again, simple modification, I think it was about 60 bucks, 70 bucks, I can't remember the exact amount. Drop that in, replace that, and all of a sudden you've got a gun. I now have two guns with the exact same trigger shape and face. Again, that Legion single action that I like so much, with now the Legion double action, again, using the same face trigger. And from my perspective, just an opinion here, but having a consistent trigger and a trigger shape makes a lot of difference in terms of proficiency and delivering consistent hits. So guys, I'm going to give you guys a chance to see. You can see right now the trigger. I'm just going to work and give you guys a chance to see where the reset is occurring. Super short. So I'm 4 yards from my target, and what we're going to work on right now is I'm just going to work that double action press. Now this is really nothing more than me getting a little trigger time on this new trigger and seeing exactly how it feels with that new forward face. And it should feel just the same as it does when I'm shooting the single action version, with simply a longer trigger press that I've got to steadily push through as we manipulate the gun here. So I'm going to shoot that circle out there, that on that target. I'm going to work a slow press, and then I'm going to decock. So again, I'm working a really slow press, and the goal here is a consistent press all the way through to the rear until the hammer drops. All right, so what we've seen is we've got all of our shots essentially in there, touching in that same area. So now what I'm going to transition to is I'm going to shoot a single action followed by a double action. And again, I'm just working that same action straight through to the rear, reset the trigger, press again. Slow, steady press to the rear. Slow and steady. And that obviously was not slow and steady. what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to have a consistent press. I'm not trying to stage the trigger as I work through that double action there. I'm just trying to have a consistent, steady press. Can I speed up the process? Absolutely I can. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to really work my finger and build some muscle memory through that process. Decock, come out, slow press. All right, so that's all that we're trying to do throughout the entire process there. So the next thing we're gonna do now is we're gonna go out, we'll shoot some steel, and we'll just work the same thing. For most of us, for me, it's not much fun to work the things that I'm not particularly good at. So spending 50 rounds or 100 rounds on those single shot presentations, working through that double action, helps improve my marksmanship skills, helps improve my efficiency, and therefore my confidence in my ability to do that right out of the holster. Come, press through, get a good hit while staying on sights. So again, we're out here, now we're gonna shoot some steel. Again, this is that forward set, that forward facing trigger on the SIG Legion double action. I have to say I really like this trigger. It makes a huge difference for me in the way I shoot. Decock, 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 decock. Great drill to do. So now I'm going to set them up. I will shoot that first one double action, but then I'll just transition and work the single action pistol, and frankly that single action pistol is awful nice, so why wouldn't we? So guys, the bottom line is the GrayGuns trigger, this basically that angled trigger that comes standard on the SIG Legion 226 single action pistol, putting that same type of trigger into the double action version really for me is a huge improvement. It just feels better in my hand. I'm able to get more of the kind of leverage, the ability to adjust, you know, make some minor adjustments to its over travel, and also where that, how it engages is huge for me. So it's a huge thumbs up. I really like it. It feels great, and it's going in that pistol and it's staying that way. Well guys, thanks so much for watching. As always, stay safe.